Good morning, Group B. I'm sorry I can't be with you all today, but I still wanted to continue our work with arrays. Yesterday, we took a look at different examples. We saw what we noticed. We figured out how many we had all together in our array, and we even wrote some number sentences to match. Well, today, we're going to continue with that. We're going to practice that a little bit more, and then we're going to take it a step further. So for the first part of this video lesson for you guys, you're going to see some pictures of examples of arrays pop up on the screen. You're going to take a look at them, and you are going to, on paper with your pencil that you have at home, you're going to write a number sentence that matches. Each picture is going to stay up for a little bit. You guys will have enough time to really look at it and then write your number sentence down on the paper, and then the answer is going to come up for you afterwards. I wanted to show you an example of myself doing this activity, so that's going to come up in just a few moments, and then those pictures are going to pop right up for you. Remember, you are writing these down on your paper with pencil to get some really good practice with these arrays. So let's review what we did yesterday. You'll see that Miss Carson on her whiteboard drew an example of an array. I have 3 rows across here. Each of these rows has 5 circles in it. So I know that I could write a number sentence below to help me figure out how much I have all together in my array. Let's see, if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll start my number sentence with 5 plus the next row is the same. Remember, in an array, each row has the same amount. So if I move down a row, that's plus 5 more, and then my last row, again, 5. 5 plus 5 plus 5. So what does that give us all together? Well, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 15 circles in my array. Now, even if I counted instead of going from left to right across my rows, I could also go up and down my columns. So if I count by column starting from top to bottom, I have 1, 2, 3. So I have 1 column of 3, then 1, 2, 3 more, another column of 3, and I can keep going and write another number sentence with my numbers from my columns. So in this strategy here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns of 3. Now, even though my number sentence is different, my total doesn't change. I still have 15 circles in my array. Now that you've seen my example of how to write your number sentences, I showed you 2 different ways across our rows or down our columns. You're going to do the same thing. So get ready, have your pencil and paper. If you need to pause the video to grab those supplies, go ahead and do it now because these pictures are coming up in just a second. All right, let's begin. You'll notice in those last two examples that in both the rows and the columns, you had the same number. In the first one, there were 3 rows across and there were 3 columns. So your number sentences would have been the same. But what about this next one where there is a different number of rows across and columns up and down? For this next one,
let's try one more example where there are 2 different number sentences that you can write to match the array. Now that we've looked at some examples from online and in some pictures of how to make arrays, I want to show you another way that you can using some materials that you all have at home that we've been working with all year long. We know that in an array, the row and the column have to have the same number of objects in them. Think back to when we were working with our Cuisenaire rods and trying to make equal trains, both trains being the same length. One was not longer than the other. Think about when we do our addition using Cuisenaire rods. When we put rods together, for example, I'm going to take my red 2 and a red 2, I just made a train. And in order to find out what 2 plus 2 is, I have to try using my rods to see which one fits, which one is equal. We know it's not our light green 3. That's too short. We know it's not our yellow 5. That's too long. See? It's not even. It's not equal. But when I put my purple 4 down, both rows are equal, just like they must be in an array. So you can use your Cuisenaire rods to experiment with arrays too, to make equal amounts all the way across. 2 and 2 give us 4. Now, Those were kind of small numbers, but take a look what happens if I use my orange 10. This is the biggest rod that you have in your set. So how many different ways can I make rows that are equal to my orange 10? Using the same color. Remember, we have to have the same object. So with each row, we're trying to use the same color. Now, some colors aren't going to work. Some of them will not be able to fit equally underneath. Let's start with my light green 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. See right here as an example, we can't use our 3s to make a Cuisenaire rod array. They don't fit evenly. This one makes it too long, and when I take it away, it is one length too short. So this won't work. Let's try my red 2s. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now they might shift a little bit here, like mine are wiggling just a little bit, but when you straighten it out, you can see that, look, my 2s can fit perfectly. I fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 underneath my train. And just like we did with our other examples, I am able to write a number sentence that matches. I put 5 2s underneath my orange 10. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 10. 5 2s give us 10. I wonder if any of my other rods will fit evenly underneath here. Let's try another one. All right, let's take our purple 4s and see if that will work. Okay, I've got 1, 2. I don't think this one is going to work here because, look, there's not enough space for another 4 to go and it's still too short. So this does not fit in my Cuisenaire rod array because the rows are not even. That was our very first rule that we talked about when we worked with Cuisenaire rods and our arrays earlier in the week. Our rows have to be even in order to make equal trains. One cannot be longer than the other. The rules are the same for both of these ideas, these concepts we've been working with. So let's try something else because I want to try to get at least one more number sentence we can work with our 10 here. Let me put a yellow 5 and another yellow 5. Now look, that fits perfectly. 2 5s together are the same thing as our 10 rod and our 5 2s. So I could do another number sentence here. 5 plus 5 equals 10. 5 groups of 2 and 2 groups of 5 give us the same thing. Notice how it's kind of the flip-flop. We're exchanging our numbers here. We know we're working with 5s and 2s. We have 5 groups of 2 and 2 groups of 5. I'm noticing that pattern as we have been writing these number sentences with our arrays. Go back and look on your sheet of paper that you used earlier in your lesson. In those examples that I put earlier in the video, you'll find with the ones you could write more than one number sentence about that was the case. You're taking these numbers and you're flip-flopping them, just like I did with my 5 groups of 2 and my 2 groups of 5. I wonder how many different combinations of arrays you are able to make with your Cuisenaire rods at home. I know you don't have as many rods as Miss Carson does to be able to try this, but I'm sure you'll be able to experiment with a few ways and try to make arrays that way. But you can also make arrays using other objects that you have at home. And in fact, that is exactly what you're going to be doing in your classwork time today. On Seesaw, you're going to find an assignment called Making Arrays at Home. This is another chance for you to be creative with the materials you have in your house, just like we've been using things in our house for non-standard measuring tools and comparisons and scavenger hunts with numbers and objects. You are going to use objects in your home to make arrays. You can use all kinds of things: coins, Legos, blocks, and even things like cereal. For example, I'm going to make an array here using one of my favorite snacks. I'm going to take some little treats, my Hershey Kisses, to make an array, just as an example of how you guys can do this at home. So let's see, I need to make sure that I have the same number of objects in each row and each column. So I'm going to make a Hershey's Kiss array here. Ooh, all right. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'll do 6 in my rows. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Maybe I'll just do 2 rows with 6 objects each, and then I have 6 columns of 2 kisses each. 2 rows of 6 and 6 columns of 2. Now I need to write the number sentence to match. This is going to be step 2. Build your array. Make sure that one row isn't longer than the other. For example, if my array looked like this, then it wouldn't be an array at all. It's not even. No, you have to make sure that all of your rows and columns are even. So let me think. What are the 2 number sentences I can write for this array? All right, so I know I have 2 rows of 6, so 6 plus 6, that gives us 12. I have 2 rows of 6, so I must have 6 columns of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, so in my number sentence, I'm going to write 2 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, my total doesn't change. Even though my add-ins have shifted a bit, it's still going to give us the same amount. 2 groups of 6 and 6 groups of 2 both give us 12. So now it is your turn, my friends. You are going to hop on over to Seesaw to take a look at your 2 assignments for today. In the first assignment, making arrays at home, you're going to be doing just what Miss Carson did, using objects around your home. So now, my friends, it is your turn to make arrays. You're going to hop on over to Seesaw and pull up 2 new math assignments for today. In the first one, you're going to do exactly what I just did here with my Hershey's Kisses. You are going to find objects at home to make your own arrays. And don't forget those number sentences that go along with them. Those are very, very important. Make as many as you can. You can even use those Cuisinart rods like I showed you a few minutes ago. You're also going to see an assignment that looks like a skyline. When you look at a city from a distance and see all of those different shapes in the buildings, you are going to notice that these buildings have windows on them that make arrays. Underneath each building, there's going to be a blank spot for you to write a number sentence. And then you can even try to make your own skyline with buildings in it that have arrays for windows. Kind of a fun, creative project to end our week. So I will still be online later on in the day monitoring your work. I can't wait to see what you all do. Again, I wish we could have all been together today, but thank you for watching this video and being such hard workers. I know you guys are going to make me proud while I'm gone. So I will see you all bright and early on Monday morning. Don't forget, this afternoon, you get to watch Ferdinand. If you can find a way to rent or stream that video, there won't be PIBL this afternoon. All of our friends will be watching Ferdinand. It is a fun Friday for you all. So have a fun and safe weekend, everybody, and I'll see you on Monday.